And welcome to our online mentorship session. I'm really excited every Friday evening that we get to do this again and again. I'm equally excited for every one of us who are part of our viewership, especially those of us who constantly involved in this program every Friday, again and again and again. I'm really grateful that we get to gather together and have a feast of wisdom and knowledge, as it has to do with personal development, career development, understanding the rudiments and fundamental principles of life, and everything that we get to discuss on this platform, which I believe is targeted towards growth and development. All right, this is mentorship session. I want to welcome every one of us and thank you for tuning in again and again, especially to those of us who are returning viewers. Again and again, thank you so much for always giving your time to be part of this program. And to those who will be joining for the first time today, I want to welcome you once again. It's not by accident that you are part of this broadcast. And I believe that by the end of this broadcast, you would really see the value and the benefits of being a part of such a wonderful program as this. So if you are watching for the first time, my goodness, I want to welcome you. All right, and I want you to do me a favor right away. If you're watching for the first time, if you're watching by YouTube, I want you to subscribe immediately. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because there are many more contents on this platform that will bless you, not just the mentorship session alone. Do well to like and begin to share this broadcast now. And if you're watching by Facebook, because we are live both on YouTube and Facebook, if you're watching by Facebook, do well to follow the page, join our online community, and be part of what we are doing. Be part of this global movement for change, for growth, for development. All right, and do well to also like and to share this broadcast right now on that platform. I want you to right now begin to share this broadcast with as many as you can. Thank you so much. I see a good number of us are already online. Thank you so much. When you are done liking and sharing, please move over to the comment section or the live chat section and let me know where you are following from. See a lot of people already here from here in Maiduguri, Nigeria. Thank you, Nelly. Nelly says hello from Winchester, Virginia. That's a state in the USA. She says be blessed, emoji. Thank you, Nelly. From Kaduna, Nigeria. Good evening, sir. Good evening to you. Connie is all the way from Massachusetts. Thank you so much, Connie. It's good to have you on board. Charlie says, thank you too, Daddy, for always being here, imparting us with wisdom. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at Facebook and see how many people are there. So do well to let us know where you're watching from, your name, your city, and your nation. Your name, your city, and your nation. It's important, especially for those of us who don't use our original name as our username, so we can identify you. For instance, there's a username, Shata, right? Just go up a little. I saw that. Shata. So good evening, Shata. Please let us know your name and where you're watching us from right now. Username Yahweh's Delight says, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Indeed, the Lord be praised. Gideon, all the way from Kaduna. Thank you so much, Mr. Gideon, for being part of this broadcast. And then Joy from Maiduguri, and a lot of us who are here already. I can see that many of us are already online, and I'm so glad that we are already tuned in and connected even before the show kicked off. Thank you so very much. Trust me, it's going to be a wonderful time. Um, you're going to be heavily impacted with knowledge. We are going to share a lot and gain wisdom. And it's what you receive on this platform is valuable information that is concerned with your growth, your development, and your holistic transformation. Very, very important, especially for those of us who are career people into business and leaders in every sphere. This is a show and a broadcast that is meant just for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let's keep liking and sharing, and then let's get the live chat session engaged, okay? Feel free all through the broadcast to drop your questions, and if any point is shared that resonates with your heart, please do well to type it in the comment section, okay? I want us to be interactive. I want to know what your thoughts are as I keep looking once and again to the comment section, so we know that we are all carried along. Thank you so much. We are going to pray and begin. We're going to begin the show with prayers. I'm a faith person, and I believe in the power of prayers. So we are going to start by praying, and then we get into the discussion for today. It's going to be interesting. Trust me. Make sure you stay glued and you stay tuned. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Okay, welcome back. Let's pray now and then we begin. Dear Lord, thank you for another time on this platform, mentorship session. Thank you for all the wisdom that you have dispersed to us in the weeks and the months prior to today. And thank you because today will not be an exception, but that we will increase and we will grow in knowledge and then gain wisdom and understanding, information that is useful for our lives, for our careers, our destinies, our businesses, our families, our groups, ministries, and everything connected to us. Lord, I pray that our hearts will be open to listen. Help us to avoid distraction and bless everyone that is watching right now. Let the network be stable and glorify yourself in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much. We begin right away. So in the last few weeks, we'll be talking about people-driven leadership. We had a break last weekend because we had a live event somewhere in the city of Abuja, Nigeria. But we are back now, and I want us to finish. I want us today to conclude on people-driven leadership. It's been a very interesting subject. I can see from our interaction the last two episodes, and I know today is going to be super interesting. I see a lot of people still coming in. Thank you so much. Lucy from Maiduguri. Thank you, Lucy. Lucy says, good evening, sir. May God continue to bless you for all that God has been using you to inspire us. Thank you, Lucy. Silas John. Wube Sisei. I hope I got that name correct. Wube Sisei. Wube Sisei says hi. Hello to you, Wube Sisei. Let us know what city and what nation you are connecting from, and also what tribe or ethnological background that name comes from. That's a very interesting name. All right. People-driven leadership. Let's try to see if we can conclude on that subject today. So we started by defining leadership, first of all, as the capacity to influence people towards a common goal without the use of force or coercion. And I believe that leadership is really about influence. I also believe that leadership is all about people. Okay? A wise man once said that any leader who has no followers is simply taking a walk. So you're leading because you are responsible for influencing people towards a common goal. It's very important we understand that leadership is really about people. I also believe that leadership is contextual, in the sense that you can lead from any position, any field, or any angle in society. Okay, you don't need a position to lead. We lead from our different spheres of life, and it's important for us to understand, according to John C. Maxwell, who in his book The 360-Degree Leader, he talked about the 5 levels of leadership. Position is one of those levels. Okay, we have position, we have productivity, we have permission, we have personality, and people development, or pinnacle rather. These are different levels of leadership. Leadership by permission is when you lead because the people permit you to lead. You've been able to win their will, and so they permit you to lead. Leadership by position is when you seem to be appointed into a position part time. So whether the people like you or not, you've been appointed to lead them, and you are in that position part time. Okay, the president of a country is elected sometimes as a positional leader, or that's a positional level of leadership. You are in that position even when you have critics who don't like you. And I believe that you can develop your leadership from one level to the other. Then there is leadership by productivity, where people love you and follow you because of how productive you are, or how productive you make the system that you lead become. But then there is also leadership by personality development. Now that's when, beyond productivity, you have built a personality that people can follow because you are involved in developing people. And then there's the last but not the least, which is the pinnacle. That's the very height of leadership. You've been able to cross all the different levels and gain so much influence over people. You become a model that people can follow, and we have people like that in history, leaders like that in history. I need you to understand that people-driven leadership is all about inspiring and motivating others as you lead. I said that people-driven or people-oriented leadership is leadership that focuses on channeling the potentials of people to achieve a common, specified, and clearly spelled out goal. Channeling the energy, the potentials of people to achieve a clearly specified and spelled out goal. It goes beyond merely using people to help. It goes beyond merely using people to helping them discover their unique potentials and developing them in their purpose. So when you are a people-driven leader, you are going beyond just using people to get the job done, to seeing how by getting the job done, the people have their skills and potentials sharpened and developed. And so that at the end of the work or at the end of the job, the people have developed themselves or become better persons at what they do. I believe that people-driven leadership is what we need in our world today, is what we need in society, is what we need in politics and government. Sadly, there are still some nations where you find leaders who the people feel are just imposed on them, maybe because they care very little about the people, about the masses, about the will of the people. And if you want to inspire and motivate people, you must care about how they feel. You must care about developing them. You must care about motivating them. Your leadership must bring something different to the table that makes the people want to follow you, and that sustains the integrity of the system, as well as makes it productive enough. Because at some point as a leader, you are meant to produce results. I said that people follow you for any of these 4 reasons. Number 1, people will follow you for who you are. That's your personality. Number 2, people will follow you for what you do, your results, your productivity. Number 3, people will follow you for what you give them. If you empower them and give them resources, they will follow you. People will also follow you for where you stand or where you are. That's position, your position in life. These are different reasons for why people will follow you, all right? And we really talked a lot and dealt with that at the first episode. And the next part, we talked about dialogue and diplomacy in people-driven leadership, the need for engaging in dialogue with your people and being diplomatic in your approach as a leader. Diplomacy is not necessarily compromise. Diplomacy is having a mutual approach of solving conflicts or problems without pushing people beyond their limits. When you are leading people, you lead people of different types, of different classes and different kind. People of different backgrounds, of different orientations, of people of different experiences, and all of this carry a backlog into how they perform under your leadership. And so there will be instances where you have problems to solve, and there will also be instances of conflicts amongst the people you lead, and you need a level of diplomacy in approaching conflict and solving problems. Diplomacy is not manipulating people. No. Diplomacy is seeking a mutual and peaceful way of resolving an issue without compromising the standards of the organization, and also without bringing contention or conflict between you and the people that you lead. I like to call it favorable compromise. Sometimes there has to be understanding, not in fact all the time, and then sometimes we will need to compromise to one another to ensure that for the greater good, and to ensure that the cause of the organization flows as it should. This is diplomacy. All right, diplomacy is not manipulation. That's something we really need to understand. Somebody asked a question, I think it was on the second part, about leaders who under the guise of diplomacy push their responsibility on others, I believe, and I said that that's not a leader. You see, one of the primary characteristics of the leader is the willingness, not just the ability alone. The ability and the willingness to take responsibility, to be responsible for your actions, to be responsible for the organization, the system, whether it fails or it succeeds. The true test of leadership is when you are man enough, when you are matured enough to take responsibility, even for the organization, even when there is a failure in the system. Okay? Diplomacy is a very important aspect of leadership that any people-driven leader should get. And so we're going to the part 3 today, Um, Lucy Onyima says primary characteristics of a leader is willingness. Yes, willingness to take responsibility. Willingness and ability to take responsibility. So let's go to part 3, people-driven leadership, and see if we can conclude today. If we cannot, definitely we'll continue next week. And I'm taking my time to talk about leadership because we need leadership everywhere. In the family, in our schools, in society, in politics and government and governance, everywhere. And almost every one of us are leaders in our various spheres. So we need leaders. And this is really, really fundamental. Part 3, people-driven leadership. Today we want to talk about the need for teamwork. The need for teamwork. Of course, we can't talk about people-driven leadership without addressing the aspect of teamwork. Teamwork. The need for teamwork. Teamwork. You know, the word team is spelled T-E-A-M. It refers to a group of people coming together for a common cause. In sports, a team is a set of people brought together to play a game, like a football team, a volleyball team, a basketball team, an athletics team. So it's important that we discuss the aspect of teamwork to understand fully what people-driven leadership is, because as a leader you are going to be working with people. You are going to have a team around you, and you need to understand the dynamics of teamwork. Very important if you want to be productive as a leader, and if you want to achieve success within the context of your leadership. Teamwork is fundamental and vital to your understanding. The need for teamwork. You know, the word team is spelled T-E-A-M. And think of it as an acronym, not just a word. Think of it as an acronym. T-E-A-M. T stands for together. E stands for everyone. A stands for achieves. M stands for more. Together, everyone achieves more. Team. That means the achievement of a team, of a group of people, most definitely will be louder and more pronounced than the achievement of an individual, a single individual. Together, everyone achieves more. All right. Lagang Mulaba. That's somebody who just joined on YouTube. Thank you so much, Lebongang. Let me know where you are following and watching from, your city and your nation actually as well. Together, everyone achieves more. That's the power of a team. Hear this. Teamwork refers to the collaborative effort of a group of individuals who come together to achieve a common goal, vision, or complete a task. Teamwork. I started by explaining what a team is. Now we're talking teamwork. Teamwork refers to the collaborative effort of a group of individuals who come together to achieve a common goal, vision, or complete a task. That's teamwork. They come together to achieve a common goal, vision, or complete a task. The collaborative effort of this group of individuals. That's teamwork. I want you to hear this again. The best team does not have people with the same gift and ability. No. The best team does not have people at the same level of giftings or ability. No. but rather combine the diverse talents. It's rather a combination of diverse talents, diverse giftings, diverse abilities, diverse potentials, all synergized together is what makes the best team. So that we are all uniform and we all know how to do the same thing doesn't mean that we'll make a good team. No. There has to be the variety of potentials, of ability, of skill, of giftings, of graces, if you want to construct the best team. In fact, let me read from the Holy Bible in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses, I want to get a verse that supports this point I just made. The best team does not have people with the same gift and ability, but rather combine the diverse talent. I want to read a scripture from the Holy Bible that supports this point so we can understand it and allow the point to drive home. From verse 12, it says, "For as the body is one and has many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ." One body, many members, but we are all one, working as a team. Verse 14 says, "For in fact the body is not one member, but many." Now from verse 17, "If the whole body were an eye," he says, "where would be the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where would be the smelling? But now God has set the members, each one of them in the body, just as he pleased. And if they were all one member, where would the body be? But now indeed there are many members, yet one body." So when we operate from the context of a team, we come together with our different abilities, potentials, capacities, giftings, graces, skills, but we synergize into one body so that we can achieve a common goal. And I believe it is excellent leadership to find the wisdom by which you can blend different giftings and skills and capacities and abilities to be able to achieve a common goal. That's the wisdom of true wisdom of people-driven leadership to achieve that. Listen to this. Great teams have people that know their role and appreciate others as well. Great teams have people that know their role and appreciate the role of others. Everybody understands their functional unit and also appreciates the role of another person. So that means we see each other in that team. We appreciate our unique contribution, and we respect the role of the other person as important, as part of achieving the success of a team. Think of a factory where you have different kinds of workers. You have cleaners, you have people who work in the factory, different skills at different sections. You have the security guards, you have the managers of the different sections, you have the general manager, and you have those in charge of communications. Different roles, but everybody knows that he or she needs the other person. And so to build a good team, or to build good team spirit, every member of that team, you see, that's the problem. Most times I realize the reason why many teams fail is that they feel that it is only up to the leader of that team to Think about the importance of the role of the others. Everybody leaves that responsibility only to the leaders, and it's not supposed to be so. It's not left to only the leaders. Everybody within the team must appreciate the role of the other person, must see the other person as a complement, a complementation to their contribution. Team spirit is not meant only for those at positional helm of affairs in leadership, but every person within the team must carry a good team spirit. I'll read another scripture from the Holy Bible in Romans chapter 12, verse 4 to 5. Romans chapter 12, verse 4 to 5. So if you have a company, an organization, everybody from the cleaners to the clerk to the communication experts to the managers to the officers, everybody is important. No one person is less. We may be paid differently because of the essentiality of our job or the grading of our skill. But you see, for us to come together to achieve a common goal, we all are important to the team. But hear this, the team is more important than everybody. The team is more important than any individual. And if you must achieve success in teamwork, you must register that in the minds of your team members, that the team and its goal and its purpose is more important than any individual. So Romans chapter 12, let's read verses 4 to 5. It says, "For as we have many members in one body, but all the members do not have the same function, so we, being many, are one body in Christ, and individually members of one another." One body, many members. So we must carry that uniformity. Uniformity in diversity in all that we do. Wonderful. We're talking the need for teamwork. The need for teamwork. Let's look at pathways to building teamwork. Pathways to building teamwork. Pathways to building teamwork. I'm going to go through, I always look at our engagement on the live chat session to be sure we are following and to see if there are questions. Okay. Yes, Lucy says no one person is less. No one person is less important. That's true. But the team is more important and bigger than any individual. That's really true. Let's see if we have any question on Facebook, and then we'll continue. I see a lot of good comments. Wonderful. Any leader who fails to work together with his team does not achieve much. That's true. Jude says everyone should see other people as a complementation to their contributions. Wonderful. Even right now, what we are doing is teamwork. Okay? What we are doing right now on this broadcast is teamwork. That team includes myself, you who are following and watching right now, and my media team at the studio with me. All of us are working together as a team. Judah says uniformity in diversity. That's really, really true. Pathways to building teamwork. Number one, you must clearly communicate the goals, objectives, and expectations. You must clearly communicate the goals, objectives, and expectations. In fact, narrow it down to every department, to every unit, and be detailed to the latter. Clearly communicate the goals, objectives, and expectations of every member of the team in clear details and down to the least unit, the least department, the least functional unit. Very, very important. When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So says Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory. You want to have a successful team as a leader, as a people-driven leader, you must learn to communicate. Communication is a major part of leadership. In fact, many times when we assume as leaders and we don't properly and in detail communicate, there is always going to be a gap. There is always going to be a loophole. Many times. So you must learn to communicate. In a family setting, the father, who is the leader of the team, must learn to communicate the roles and the expectations of everyone. In an organization, in a department, everybody involved must know the goals of that department, the objectives of that organization, and the expectations of them. What is expected of you, what is required of you. You don't want the cleaner to be the one serving tea. No. Neither do you want the tea girl to try doing the work of the clerk. No. Everybody must know their role and their responsibility. It must be clearly defined. It must be clearly defined. I said it to us a few weeks ago. I said that, one of the great authorities on leadership globally had this to say, that for every leader, the first thing you must do is communicate vision, assign task and responsibility to people, and the last thing you must say is thank you. Between those two is expected of a leader to be a servant. You must communicate. You must communicate. You must communicate to your people. Let them know what is required of them. Let them know what the organization stands for, the objectives and the goals of the department. Never assume when building a team. Never assume if you want effective teamwork. Never assume. In fact, you cannot over communicate. It is often said in leadership, there is nothing like over communication. If you need to say it again and again and again and again for everybody to get it, communication is vital. Number 2, foster open and transparent communication. Foster open and transparent communication. Pathways to building teamwork. Foster open and transparent communication. Be transparent in your communication, be open, as well as create an open channel of communication. Everybody in your team should be able to reach you as the leader. And there must be a flow of communication within the team. And you must build that channel of communication. Very, very important. Foster open and transparent communication. It must be transparent. People must be able to hold on to what you said, not saying one thing today and saying another thing tomorrow. All right? Integrity in our communication. Number 3, promote collaborative and interdependence. Promote collaboration, I beg to say. Promote collaboration and interdependence. Now, those are two words that we really need to understand. Collaboration. Everybody coming together to achieve for the good of the organization. Everybody bringing their skill, their potential to work. Collaboration and interdependence. Everybody depending on the other person in the team carrying out their assignments. Think of a football team that has a goalkeeper, defenders, midfielders, attackers, and strikers. The strikers depend on the defense to send the ball to the midfield. The midfielders ensure that the attackers have the ball to give to the strikers. Now, if there is a lapse from the defense, it will show at the strikers level. So we must learn to promote interdependence. Everyone in the team must depend on the other person to work. That means that every individual of the team must understand that them not carrying out their responsibility is already affecting and ruining somebody's work. And that brings a sense of responsibility in them to do what they need to do. Promote collaboration and interdependence. Encourage team members to work together rather than in isolation. Encourage them to work together rather than in isolation. Number 4, build trust. Pathways to building teamwork. Number 4, build trust. Build trust. Build trust. Hear this. Trust is the foundation of the team. Trust is the foundation of every team. As a leader, be reliable and keep your promises. That's one of the ways as a leader that you build trust. Be reliable. Let your people be able to depend on you. And for you to be reliable, it means you must be consistent. You must always show up and do your part as a leader. It's a sacrifice to always be consistent because you know your team is depending on you. Keep your promises when you make promises to your team. Stand by your words and fulfill them. Build trust. When there is trust in a team, I show you a team that can succeed and will succeed. When there is trust from the leadership to the subordinates, to the members of the team, it's important you build trust. Number 5, encourage diverse perspectives. Encourage diverse perspective. We said number 4, build trust. As a husband and a father in the home, build trust in your wife. Your wife should trust you. Your children should trust you. And learn to trust them as well. And now number 5, encourage diverse perspectives. You know, there's a problem we have with leadership. Most leaders I have seen are objective to a team that has diverse perspectives. Most times we all just want to clone everybody to think the same way. And if we want everybody in our team to think the same way, many times we will not be able to get the full picture, the big picture of what we are dealing with and we want to achieve. Let me give you a story. I read many years ago in a book a story about 6 blind men who went to see an elephant. And now notice they were all blind. 6 blind men went to see an elephant. We wanted to know what an elephant looked like. The first one touched the elephant on its trunk, its nose, and concluded that the elephant was a snake. The second one touched the broad, sturdy side of the elephant and concluded that the elephant looked like a wall. The third one touched the sharp tusk of the elephant and concluded that the elephant resembled a spear. The fourth one touched the tail of the elephant and concluded that the elephant was like a rope. The fifth one touched the ears of the elephant, large as they were, and concluded that the elephant was like a fan. And then the sixth one touched the strong legs of the elephant and concluded that the elephant was like a rock. Now, the six of them, instead of sitting down together to match their perspectives, they all began to argue. Everybody insisted on his perspective. And they left that place not having a full picture of what an elephant looked like. So if you have a team, please be open to diversity of perspectives. Don't allow everybody to be cloned. Make sure you don't have a team where everybody says yes. There should be one or two who once in a while says no. Now, that's not to mean that we should always disagree. No. Remember that unity is important for teamwork. But in some cases, especially when we are examining a project or something we need to do, have your team members look at it from different sides. Have pessimists in your team as well as optimists in your team, and be open to listen to all of them. Okay? You will just be getting different sides of a big picture. So encourage diverse perspectives. Number 6, provide resources and support. As a people-driven leader, learn to provide resources and support. Financial resources, material resources, educational resources, sociological resources, human resources. Empower your team by providing resources and support. Sometimes you are not the one directly providing support. Sometimes there is a team member actively involved in a particular function that requires support. Learn to support them. It's funny how some organizations these days, some corporate organizations these days, they will employ just one person in a department. A department that needs at least 3 to 4 people working there, they'll employ just one person, maybe because they are trying to minimize funds, and that person has a lot of work on them. It's not psychologically fit for that person. Why don't you employ an assistant for that person? Employ an officer for that person. Provide support. Empower your people. Jesus Christ, the greatest leader of all time in history, provided support for his team, one way or the other. In fact, there was a time he sent them 2 by 2. All right? One person acted as the support to the other person. Everybody embraces support to thrive as far as achieving is concerned. So provide resources and support. Sometimes that support can be emotional or moral support. As little as encouraging them, as little as thanking them, acknowledging what they do. By all means possible. As a people-driven leader, provide support. Number 7, recognize and celebrate achievements. Recognize and celebrate achievements. Recognize and celebrate achievement. Recognize and celebrate achievement. Do it anyhow you know to, either by giving gifts or by public affirmation or acknowledgement. But by all means, learn to recognize and celebrate the achievements of your people, individually and corporately. Sometimes hold a dinner for your team and thank them. Hold a get-together. Once in a while, get gifts for the most performing members of staff. It's really important. Even as a family, as a father, as a mother, learn to create ways that will possibly help you to celebrate the achievements, because I tell you the truth, it positively affects, it's moral support. It positively affects your people, your team. They know that they are in a place where they are recognized and they are celebrated, not tolerated. All right? Be detailed in everything they do. Commend them when they do well. so that the times they don't do well and you have to correct them, they will receive it gladly because they know that they have been well commended. That's really, really important. Like I said, choose different ways by which you can, celebrate achievements within your team. Number 8, last but not the least, lead by example. Lead by example. Lead by example. Lead by example. Whatever you want your team to become, model it. Remember, at the first part of people-driven leadership, we talked about the fact that you must learn to become a model. Become the model when striving to develop your people. Become the model. Become what they see as they look at you. Someone once told me this, that your team members that you lead, they are designed to look up to you. So as long as you are the example, they keep looking up to you. They find in you a model, a worthy example that they can follow. It doesn't mean be perfect in everything. No. Just be who you are meant to be and do what is required of you. But if you have a team where the followers are going beyond the leader to lead by example, they will start looking back at you and not towards you. And nobody looks behind like this for a long time without having neck problems. That's figurative to say, if you don't strive to be an example as a leader, very soon your team will outshine you and they will look for that example elsewhere. That's a problem we have in churches. When a pastor or a head of department is not able to be that model, that example that the team can look at, they begin to look for that example elsewhere because everybody's looking for somebody to look up to. And then the leader or the pastor begins to antagonize them and accuse them of not being loyal. No, sir. No, sir. There's a fine difference or a fine line that separates loyalty from exemplary leadership. It's very important. So lead by example. And if you really want to lead by example, let integrity be your lifestyle. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Do what you said you would do. Show up when you need to show up as the leader. Apologize when you don't meet up with your expectations. Lead by example. Here's what Paul, the apostle, told a young bishop called Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 4. Timothy was a young man who became the overseer of a group of churches. And Paul told him this about exemplary leadership. In verse 12, he says, "Let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in word, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, and in purity." Be an example. Be an example. All right? And that's my prayer, that we'll all in our various spheres of life lead by example. Okay, let's rush this before we close. Factors that inhibit teamwork. Factors that inhibit teamwork. Factors that inhibit or restrains teamwork. Let's rush that, then we'll call it a day. Number 1, lack of vision. Lack of vision. I think it's Proverbs 29 verse 18 that says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." In the New King James translation of the Holy Bible, it says, "Where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint." If there is no vision visible enough for them to see, Everybody will do what is pleasing to them. It inhibits teamwork. Everybody begins to go their separate ways and do what they think is right. It inhibits teamwork, lack of vision. Number 2, inadequate leadership. In bracket, lack of motivation. Inadequate leadership. When the leadership is not providing as much motivation as it should, it can inhibit teamwork. You must understand that as a people-driven leader, you are meant to inspire and motivate your team in every way possible, principally possible. Number 3, factors that inhibit teamwork. Ego and individualism. Ego. When everybody holds on to their ego, their pride. Individualism. When it's all about you and you don't think about the other person as a complement to your work, it inhibits teamwork. Number 4, unhealthy competition amongst team members. Unhealthy because there is healthy competition. Healthy competition is when we set a pace to encourage everyone to work and do their best. Unhealthy competition amongst team members, when people are trying to better the other person as opposed to achieving the common goal of the organization. Unhealthy competition. Number 5, conflict and unresolved issues is also another thing that inhibits teamwork. Conflict and unresolved issues. So you have a lot of bickering, a lot of mileage between team members. Before you know, you begin to have camps, sects. All of that inhibits teamwork. Conflict and unresolved issues. And I want you to know that conflicts are bound to arise in the team. Conflicts are bound to arise. But every team member must embrace the virtue of meekness. What is meekness? The ability not to offend and not to be easily offended. Or not to be easily offended. Conflict will arise, but every team member must be meek, must be humble, must esteem the other person higher, and must seek understanding to resolve our issues. So those are the 5 factors that inhibit teamwork. And I think with that we can come to an end for today's session. I do hope it has really impacted you and blessed you. We talked about people-driven leadership, the need for teamwork, the need for teamwork, the need for teamwork. All right? In the animal kingdom, because of the prey and predator ratio, there are many animals that work as a team to be able to fight off predators and hunt for prey, like the lions, like hyenas. Hyenas walk in a pack, a clan. Lions walk in a pride. Wild dogs. It becomes easy to kill a prey when he or she walks alone. I believe teamwork is what is required of us to bring excellent leadership, people-driven leadership, leadership that nurtures men, that develops men, that helps men to grow. Can only happen when there are effective structures, concrete structures put in place to build effective teamwork. It's been a wonderful time. All right, no questions on YouTube, Facebook. Okay, so I believe it's been an amazing time and many of us understand. Yes, we agree to disagree and we disagree to agree as a team. And that's how you complete it, Julie. We agree to disagree and we disagree to agree. Everyone's perspective matters. That's true. Diversity of perspective. Really correct. Take these principles to your office, to your team, at home, in church, in the marketplace. Apply them and become a people driven leader that is sought after. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast, and I believe it has heavily impacted you. I'd like you to write me. I want to hear from you and know how this broadcast is affecting you positively. I also like you to suggest to me what other topics you would want us to discuss. Feel free to write me on my email, which is at the live chat session right now. From any part of the world, please send me an email. All right, let me know how this program and this broadcast has affected your life positively, and also let me know your choices of topics you would want us to take. I would love to hear from you. I look forward to hearing from you again and again. To every one of us from different nations and those of us in Nigeria, thank you so much for joining us today. I do hope you have an amazing, fantastic, fruitful, and productive weekend ahead. Rest well, eat healthy, and exercise regularly. And I'll see you in high spirits at the next episode next week. For now, from me and the team in the studio, it's bye for now.